What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your hosts, myself, Alex Fishbein, and I got Dennis Big Sexy Clausen back in the building. What's going on, Dennis?
What up?
Nothing much. We missed you on the show. It's been too long.
I didn't fucking recognize you with that mustache.
I'm wondering what anybody who watches normally is gonna think. If you guys watch, you gotta let us know in the comments. Should we keep the stash or get rid of the stash?
There's a lot of girls who might be watching right now. There's going to be a puddle on the floor.
Well, I mean, I'm flattered by the puddles.
Yeah. You're married. Yeah, we get it. Okay.
I've got
I mean, but like, there comes a point in time where you just don't have to say that anymore.
They're for sure, but like, I'm still in the early stages, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you'll be locked in at a point. It's like you're tenured. And you won't have to worry about doing any of that anymore. It's like your wife won't worry about you like cheating. You won't have to, like, there's things you just don't even worry about anymore. And quite frankly, there's people just don't care.
True.
They're like, yeah, whatever.
That's true.
Just pay the mortgage.
It'll probably be not too long until they're just like, where's your husband? He's at home watching basketball. I mean, it already happens as it is, but
yeah, there comes a point in time where they just give up on you. They're like, where is he? He's doing something. I don't know, gun league or something.
He's not going to fight it anymore.
Like, they don't even care. They just make up something.
Right.
Like, normally, like, right off the bat, like, there's times where, you know, you might not be feeling something and you may have to stretch things a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, where's Alex? He just didn't feel good. There's going to be a point in time where that just goes away.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be like, where's Alex? You just want to watch TV.
There's already been times where, like, so the video game I play the most is Destiny, and raids on Destiny come out twice a year. And I think she was either at a bachelorette or had something to do, and I was like, well, I'm staying home because I'm playing this with my friends. And they're like, where's Alex? And she was just like, he's home playing video games. I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming out. Fuck that.
Yeah, correct.
So
that's how you know, though. That's how you know, though, you have a keeper, when they acknowledge that you need your time.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, okay, sure. We're going shopping. And then we're going to stop here and there. See you tonight. And you're literally just sitting, well, not in your case, but in my case, I'm just like a blob on the chair, just fucking cheese doodles, and just, you didn't even shower that day, and you're just sitting there like a bag of ass just watching anything.
Oh, trust me, that is me half of the time, and it will be me progressively more as life goes on, for sure.
This is actually my favorite age, though, to be honest with you. Like, your body sucks, but your expectations are completely lessened at this age. Like, the pressure's off.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. Everyone keeps telling me once you hit 30, life is even better.
Honestly, like, I'm sure there'd be a point in time where it just sucks, but you, like, actually just grow comfortable in your own skin, and you just don't give a fuck about anything.
Oh yeah,
you still care about things, but you don't care about, like, you ever see those guys walking around, like the old guys? They got like fucking stains on their shirt, and they got like Velcro sneakers, and you're like, how can they go out? Because they don't care anymore.
Right. Because they're at the stage where it's like, I'm here for comfort, and that's all I give a fuck about.
Right, and their goal of the day is to make sure that they can get all their pee out when they pee and not dribble in their shorts. It's basically the objective for the day.
Exactly. I mean, hey, I'm I'm down with that. That's fine with me. I already go to like we'll go out to like breakfast or restaurant or whatever, and I'm ready to go out in like sweatpants. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? This place isn't fancy. Why do I need to put jeans on?
You got caviar and you got fucking sweatpants. Your champagne,
Exactly.
sir. You got fucking,
We went to this Italian place, like a nice Italian place, after we went to a rum bar. And we didn't know we were going to the Italian place. We were just like, hey, we should go actually eat dinner. And we went across the street to the Italian place, went in there, and I was like, we are severely underdressed. I'm currently wearing an Allen Iverson t-shirt and
right.
like some golf shorts. And everyone else is in here in like the long sleeve button ups with slacks and everything. And I'm I sit down and I'm just like, let me get a beer and some chicken parm.
Yeah. You ever see those? There, you go in there, and there's like a violinist and stuff, and all of a sudden you just, and everybody looks at you,
Exactly.
and everybody stops. You got
Everyone's
like
like,
a,
what the fuck is he doing here?
you got a fucking Davis Bertans t-shirt on.
Then
But who you got?
the one basketball fan is like, man of culture.
Yeah. Yeah, but who are they, kid? The Italian guys. You got some guy named Dominic in the back. He's got meat sauce all over his shirt. Like he cares.
Yeah, pit stains. And
Yeah, fucking
smoking
sweating. Yeah, doesn't care.
Exactly. Agreed. Speaking of fat people with sweat stains, James Harden.
Oh, I was gonna say, why are you talking about me like that?
No.
What did I do to you?
Not you, of course. Let me play this video real quick. James Harden in China on his Adidas China tour talking about Daryl Morey and the Sixers.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
He looks like me.
I like this. The side view really captures it all, to be honest.
Does he have gray in his beard?
Honestly,
the lighting?
Let's see. Let's hold on. Actually, before I replay it, we got our boy.
Hey,
Everyone, go check out NBA a la Chilena. I think that's kind of how you say
whatever
it with the
that
accent.
means.
We're gonna go with it. But our boy down in Chile, he says salute to both. Salute to you too, my friend. Thank you for tuning in.
That's too many words for me to remember, so I usually just type in chubby Latinas, and that gets the same job. That gets the job done.
Oh, it brings his channel up too? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you type in chubby Latinas, they'll come up.
Oh god. He said James Harden, aka Mongo Slide, aka Strip Club Pimp, aka Titties over Titles, aka Cheesecake over Teammates. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to use that in our description. But anyway, let me.
It's great.
Let me replay the.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say.
I don't know. It's either the lighting or he is turning gray. It's definitely up for debate.
Well, do you think anybody's gonna disagree with him in China when somebody's bashing Daryl Morey?
I do have to give it to Harden. He knows his audience.
Oh my god.
He played to his audience so well in that moment.
Genius.
Oh yeah. And that it's funny too, because while everyone was talking about like, oh my god, Daryl Morey lied, it was like, James Harden's playing it pretty smart. He's not just a fat suit guy. He's really playing through his audience over here. The guy's learning some PR tricks.
James, by the way, we're a hit in China, so fuck Daryl Morey. He is a liar. Yeah.
Fuck Daryl Morey.
But James Harden always comes across like he's this quiet, just comes there, just plays, doesn't say anything. This is like one of those times where he's like coming out and being more vocal than he usually is, because usually he just like puppeteers things behind. He's the guy who tells the guy who tells the guy who tells the guy about the thing he wants to say that gets leaked to the press.
Right.
Or he'll say just enough to where it says what he wants to say, but it doesn't really say what he wants to say, but you can interpret it however you want to. That's his MO. That's what he's does. And he does it actually really well. He's pretty fucking genius. But what I thought was kind of interesting, because I never saw this coming, and I don't even know if you had stuff to add to this, but Kyrie Irving comes to his defense, and I go, holy shit, like, how did this happen?
I know, that was a surprise in and of itself. And on top of that, PJ Tucker came to his defense. PJ Tucker posted an Instagram story saying he's on Harden's side. And Joel Embiid, whether this could be something or not, removed processing and removed Philadelphia from his Twitter bio.
Well, I guess it all comes down to whether or not Daryl Morey is a liar. So who are we going to believe in this situation? So I guess for those who don't know, we could put context behind it that last season Harden took a pay cut in order for the team to sign PJ Tucker, make some other moves. Harden is claiming that Morey promised him a long-term extension for a lot of money if he took that pay cut. And now apparently that's not happening. James Harden isn't too happy. So now it's going to come down to who do we believe and who don't. And for some reason, well, I mean, I think I believe James Harden, to be honest with you. Because what kind of guy, as much money as you have, who's going to give up $15 million?
Exactly.
That's not like $1 million. That's not like, that's not like Aaron Rodgers, like, giving some money. Aaron Rodgers has a ton of money, but this is like $15 million.
Yep.
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of dollar bills in a stripper's ass.
That's true. That's a lot of... This man had his jersey retired in a strip club. So we know he spends a lot of money there. So $15 million could get his jersey retired in a different strip club.
He could go into the Strip Club Hall of Fame.
Exactly. Very first ballot, first ever Strip Club Hall of Fame, James Harden.
Oh, there's no denying that. He's a unanimous Strip Club Hall of Famer.
Oh, for sure. But the Philly fan in me wanted to just say fuck James Harden this whole time. And I have said it for a while. But now I still don't think Harden is worth the money. However, it is fucked up if Daryl Morey really promised him a long-term contract to take that money, to take that pay cut, and then just didn't even offer him anything. Because the report now is that the Morey and the Sixers didn't offer him a contract at all. So it's like you went from promising what seemed to be close to a max, which was also a long-term contract, to literally nothing. And then on top of that, the man doesn't get any sort of money from anywhere else. So now his ego's hurt because other teams aren't offering him anything. His pride is hurt and his trust is hurt because you promised him a contract and you're not offering him anything. So now he's opting in because he's not going to get that type of money anywhere else. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, you ask for a trade and Morey says, no, we expect you back at training camp.
For one, James Harden could easily tell him to go fuck himself. But for two, here's what could end up happening out of all this, because best case scenario, well, I guess at this point in time, when a lot of moves have already been made, best case scenario is for James Harden to be back in Philadelphia. There's no more this guy could get traded. This guy can get like moves are done. Guys have signed. There's still time and everything for moves, but that time was like early July, like when things were popping, people were motivated to make moves, blah blah blah. We're at the point now where you need either A, James Harden on the court, or B, you need a viable replacement, a guy who's of the same talent level, slightly below or a little higher. If you don't have James Harden on the floor this year, the Pistons or the Sixers aren't going to do anything. All right, it's just not going to work out in their favor. So what's going to end up happening is you need to come to terms with how do we get James Harden back on the floor? How do we get him to report to training camp? And it seems like Morey is lost everybody. And when you lose Joel Embiid, like Harden doesn't have that much clout anymore. But when you got Joel Embiid saying something, Morey better start looking to sell his condo. He better start looking at leaving because he might not last long. This might be the beginning of the end for him. In order to get James Harden to come back to the team.
I agree. And I mean, to be honest, like, Joel Embiid has put up with so much bullshit in his tenure with Philadelphia. I mean, shit that no superstar goes through normally on any other team. In terms of, not only did he already have to miss his first 2 years, they draft centers for 3 seasons, none of them turn out. They draft Ben Simmons, it goes well for a couple seasons, then that whole thing blows up. They draft they trade to draft Markelle Fultz. They trade to draft Markelle Fultz. That doesn't work out. They get Jimmy Butler. They probably, I would say, is the best team that the Philly has had under Joel Embiid. Then they miss on a heartbreaking bounce off the rim shot from Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs. They trade away Jimmy Butler. The team isn't as good as they were the next season. They fire Brett Brown, the GM. They bring in... Oh, and actually, I skipped over the part where they bring in Brian Colangelo, who talks shit on Joel Embiid on burner accounts. Then they catch him and fire him. And then they bring in Doc, seemingly supposed to be good again because Joel Embiid wants to play for Doc Rivers. Ben Simmons forces his way out. They bring in James Harden, seemingly all good again, and now this happens. Joel Embiid's turning 30 soon. Soonish.
Soon enough.
Exactly. And we're talking about a guy who's already been dealing with injury issues his entire career. So hitting 30 and seeing the other side of 30 in the NBA is only going to speed up more injuries. So if I'm him, I'm like, I don't have much time left in my prime. Am I going to sit here and kick the can down the road and try and see what happens with another trade and putting together another entirely different team where you have to rebuild all the chemistry yet again just to get to the playoffs and maybe get past the second round when we haven't done that at all? Like, you start to ask yourself that question. And then it wouldn't surprise me if he said, you know what, I don't feel like doing that, and asks a trade.
First off, Joel Embiid's not going anywhere, okay? And for anybody who's reporting, all right, that let's link. Well, for one, the media is probably the worst it's ever been because the amount of reporting that comes out is just absolutely asinine. Joel Embiid's not going anywhere, all right? So even though he took process in Philadelphia, whatever he took off of X or whatever it's called now, Twitter, he's not going anywhere. No, he's going to stay in Philadelphia for a long time. They'll do whatever it takes to keep him happy. And if that means getting his buddy James Harden back on the floor and get rid of Morey's very replaceable, especially when he hasn't done anything of significance, like to really improve the Sixers. So I think Morey's going to be gone. But for those of who are speculating that Joel Embiid is going to get traded or he's going to sign elsewhere in the future, blah, blah, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to the Knicks. He's not going. I've seen the Nets. He's not going to the Nets. He's not going to the. I don't know. He's not going anywhere. So stop it. It's annoying.
First off, if Embiid asked to be traded anywhere, he would want to go play with Jimmy Butler again because that's like his best friend. So I don't know where like the whole Knicks and Nets and all these other teams even.
People talking out their ass.
Exactly. Like Joel Embiid has made it pretty clear that he would want to play with Jimmy Butler again. And if he if he said the word, Miami would trade Bam Adebayo for Joel Embiid in a heartbeat. Anytime.
Or Duncan Robinson.
But with that being said, I agree that he's probably not going anywhere.
There's no probably about it. He's not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, I think
the same bullshit happened when they were saying LeBron's going to retire. He's not retiring.
True. I think this move by Embiid and PJ Tucker to show that they're on Harden's side and anything, if anything, I think this is a call to fire Morey rather than it is for Joel to go somewhere else. Because, like, none of these guys are, except for Harden previously, none of these guys were like buddy with Daryl Morey. Like Embiid wasn't out hanging out with Morey. Like Harden and Morey had a relationship back from their Houston days, and Morey had the hug when he came off the plane and bullshit like that. And then Morey tried to get the Houston Rockets back together again in Philly with all the guys that he signed. And then like now we're here. Joel Embiid isn't like, best friends with the guy. He doesn't care if he gets fired. They brought in a new coach in Nick Nurse, so they're going to figure out how that goes. But to be honest, if they fired Daryl Morey, Elton Brand is still there. And he still is a part in making decisions in terms of team personnel. So if you fire Morey, Brand is still there to do the same exact job.
Read my lips. Daryl Morey's gone. He'll be gone in a month. Within a month.
Okay.
He'll be gone. Because that's the only way to fix this. All right. They don't want to trade him because you're not going to get anything for him. All right. Teams are down on him. When you look at his production versus, how much money he's looking for, nobody wants him. The Sixers don't want to lose him because, A, the guy still was league leading in assists last year. And a big reason why Joel Embiid was an MVP is because of how easy Harden made it in terms of like setting him up for good, high quality shots and things like that. He's not going anywhere. The only way to fix this is to get rid of Morey. He's not going to the Clippers. The Clippers don't have anything to trade that's going to make the Sixers a championship contender. I mean, they could Covington go back to Philly. Where are they going to get Man? They're not getting anything. So, yeah, he's gone. I give Daryl Morey a month and he's gone.
Here's my thing: is you can obviously tell James Harden's value has declined when the whole quote unquote holdup of the trade was Terrence Mann. And don't get me wrong, I like Terrence Mann as a role player, but if the whole trade is held up by a role player who's 26, first off, everyone acts like Terrence Mann is this
19
young rookie. Yeah. He's 26, and the best season he had was last year where he averaged 9 or 10 points a game. The guy isn't some superstar player. But if the whole trade is being held up by him, that means Harden's value is nowhere close to what people think it is.
Well, I don't even know if that's the problem, specific Terrence Mann. I mean, you could say, okay.
Well, reportedly.
I just it takes two to tango, and who the hell knows how willing Philly is to make a move. Well, I mean, apparently they're not, but
right.
So what are you going to get for him? You're not going to get anything.
No, you're really not. I mean,
and he works in that. He works in that system.
Yes,
he can't score like he used to, but he's still a damn good passer.
Yep.
So why not?
I mean, Patrick Beverley on his podcast even talked about the difference of James Harden's passing abilities compared to other players that he's played with. And that is still true to this day, which is a big statement, the way that he talked about how Harden's IQ and his passing makes all the shooters around him, makes their job easier. That's a big testament to his passing ability. And if that's the case, the Sixers would be wiser to keep him around instead of... And here's the other thing is, I love Tyrese Maxey. I think he's a very good starter. I think he has the potential to be a lower star player, but not a superstar, not a guy you build around. But everyone was like, hey, just bring in a bunch of role players for James Harden, and the team's still just as good. I don't think that's the case, because where's your passing ability coming from? Tyrese Maxey is not that great of a distributor.
I mean, you know how I feel about Maxey, so you're not going to get an argument from me there.
Like, Maxey can shoot, he can score, he can run the fast break. I mean, he's good at all those types of things. His defense is still improving because a lot of times he has been a revolving door on defense. That's why him and James Harden playing next to each other was shaky for a while, because their defense was garbage. And then we just are going to assume all of a sudden he's going to be able to replace a guy that's leading the whole league in assists. I just don't see that happening.
But here's the thing, like, people are so used to thinking about James Harden as a scoring first, and rightfully so. Like, I get it.
Right.
He was really good ISO player, very good ball handler, but apparently nobody really appreciated how good of a passer he was, myself included, until he went to Philly. And when you watch him just wiggle in and out of traffic, guys can't get the ball from him, and he comes up and comes with these passes for a beat out of nowhere. It's super impressive, and it's a testament of just how good he's still a good player. He's not a good scorer, but he's still an all-star caliber player.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I know. That's all you can say is
exactly.
That's it. There's nothing else to say. Just that's it.
There's really nothing else to say about this whole situation. It's just the whole thing is ridiculous. And I just want to say, the last Sixer first off, James Harden's the only Sixer ever to average 10 or more assists per game. But the last Sixer to average even close to that was 9.2 assists per game. Can you guess who it is?
Can I have a year, please? Or a time period?
80s.
Oh, fuck that. No, I'm not even doing that.
Mo Cheeks.
Oh.
Was the last Sixers player to even average, and that was 1.5 assists per game less than what James Harden averaged.
That's still impressive.
The next highest after Mo Cheeks is fucking Wilt Chamberlain.
I mean, 9 assists is still impressive considering they scored 58 points a game back then.
Oh, no, it is. That's still a really good number. But the Sixers haven't had anybody with passing ability like that. Ben Simmons is a solid playmaker, but a lot of his assists came in terms of the fast break and everything. That was his forte. Half-court offense, his passing wasn't as good. But it was Harden, Ben Simmons, and then after those two, it was all the way back down to Mo Cheeks. Drew Holiday is number 7 for the most assists per game in a season. And that was Holiday's second season in his career.
I wonder if Harden's hitting the strip clubs out in China.
I mean, he's got to check it out.
He's going to get some of that yellow fever. Can we say that? Is that okay?
I
don't know. I'm sorry if whatever.
I don't know.
It's a joke.
I don't know what's okay and what's not okay anymore.
I don't know. I don't know if that's okay. It's a joke, though.
Exactly.
I like Chinese food. I support China. I like Chinese food. I did go to the Chinese buffet, though, for the first time since, you know how people mark their lives now before COVID, and then it's like BC and AD?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and now it's just before and post-COVID. This is the first time I haven't been to a Chinese buffet since before COVID. And I gotta say, it didn't have that same that aura that it used to have, and I don't know what it is. It's kind of depressing.
Just didn't hit the same.
And I don't know if it was the food was fine. I think the atmosphere was just different. Like it just seemed darker. Like the ambiance and the lighting and it was so weird. It was depressing.
Yeah.
Can we fix this, China?
I feel as though a lot of either buffets or just restaurants where it usually was like a lot of people moving around all at once, they just don't have the same vibe anymore. Because it's like, I feel like a lot of people are now way more cautious and awkward, like being closer to other people and like in touching distance.
I don't know, because you still see the same assholes leaving the bathroom and not washing their hands.
True.
You all go to a fucking Chinese buffet, but you know, you have no problem not washing your hands, dirtballs. But we gotta fix, like, something's gotta happen, because it just doesn't feel the same, and it is depressing.
I agree.
But I wonder what the strip clubs in China are like. I wonder if they have a buffet in the strip club. That would be fantastic.
Then you know James Harden is there.
Maybe that's why he looks like that.
Exactly.
Just go to the Chinese buffet at the strip club.
Chinese strip club buffet.
I mean, half of them probably have cocks, but you know what? If the buffet's good, who cares?
Exactly. Just like Lou Williams going to the strip club for wings.
I don't blame. Hey, when you're in a bubble, I don't blame you.
Oh, I agree.
If you lock me in a bubble, and I'm going for wings.
So
did he really like? He left not for wings. He left for another reason.
I mean, he did get wings at the strip club. I don't know. I don't know if he did other stuff or anything else, but he did get wings at the strip club.
But how was a strip club?
Oh, there we go. Say that again. How is a strip club?
China just cut us off. They're like, we're not putting them. How did he get? There were strip clubs open. I mean, when you're talking about the bubble, so you got to think like everything was closed. So what was going on?
That's
good question.
Man, that's a great question. Strip clubs were still going strong.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a strip club, I don't think you're the kind of guy who worries about social distancing anyways.
No, not at all. But anyway.
What did they change the term to? It went from social distancing to what? Remember they tried to make it all stupid. You know, I don't. Who cares? He wanted wings. He wanted wings.
I don't even remember. But yeah, he wanted wings. Lemon pepper Lou.
6 Man of the Year and wing aficionado.
Exactly. We'll have to get him on the show one time just to ask how the wings were. Anyone who has connections to Lou Williams, let us know. We need to talk to him.
Get him on here.
Exactly. So moving on from James
He's like,
Harden
I
and
gotta
all
get
the
some
bullshit.
ass. I gotta get out of this bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
But
you
if
couldn't
anyone
even
asks, I'm getting wings.
you couldn't even bring like your girl with you or anything, did it? Somebody tried to sneak in a girl or something, I think.
So there's a theory that James Harden got Daniel House onto the Sixers uh because Daniel House took the fall for James Harden for bringing a girl into the bubble. That's an ongoing conspiracy theory, which I am just going to assume it's true because it's hilarious.
If that's the case, Daniel House just went about his value in my eyes is skyrocketed. James Harden's coming out with like he's got like a flower silk robe on, fucking dick's hanging out down to his knees. Like you got three girls coming out and like wiping their mouths. Like James, you brought a girl in a bubble, and Daniel House just sitting there playing Xbox. He's like, no, that was me. I did it.
He's like, no. They're all here for me.
for Daniel House. They're like, who?
Even the NBA official is like,
Wait, who?
You're on a team?
Like, who are you? You got ID? No, I swear to God, I play for the Rockets.
Oh god. Anyway, the 2023 FIBA World Cup starting soon.
Yeah.
Giannis not playing.
Wow, that's surprising.
Porzingis not playing.
Wow.
After the whole conflicting reports on Porzingis.
I love it. They try keeping a hush hush, but hey, guess who's not playing?
Nope.
Boy, the Celtics are really optimistic.
The moment they made that
Here
trade,
we go.
like,
Here we fucking go with Porzingis. Here we go.
Had one healthy season, and everyone's like, he's different now.
Right, yep. He's turning it around. And it's never like a cool injury either. It's not like it's always like he tore his knee, or now it's like a foot thing. It's like, can you get a cool injury? Torn labrum or something, like
exactly.
Torn cartilage in your shooting hand. Like, that's a cool injury. Fractured orbital bone.
And even Deanna tore her labrum playing volleyball, got back up, kept playing like a badass. But Kristaps over here just like, my foot, I can't do it.
Tougher than I am.
Me too.
The guy from the Bengals, the rookie, Charlie Jones, torn labrum, playing through it. Kristaps Porzingis, ingrown toenail, is going to miss 60 games.
I'm just waiting for like one time an injury report to say like hangnail.
A guy hasn't played because of but you got a like toe sprain.
Right. Sorry, I was answering.
What the fuck are you doing?
I was answering some texts because apparently there was a situation out back.
Wait, what's going on?
One of the neighbors was walking their dog back there, and Deanna was trying to let the dogs out, and we hook them up onto like a leash that's on a stake. And she got our one dog Bosco on the leash, but Nola just took off. And the person walking their dog was freaking out, but Nola's scared of everything. So she like ran to the path, and then our other dog Bosco started barking at her, so she just came right back, and the lady was freaking out. And it's like, all right, like, calm down. Obviously, I didn't mean to let the dog just run out. I was trying to put the leash on the dog. So whole thing is...
That's going on Facebook.
Yeah.
The homeowners association is going to get the... So is the situation resolved?
Yes. That's what
sure?
I was just asking.
Do they know we have a podcast going on?
I know. Fucking neighbors.
For one, neighbors, chill the fuck out. Two, we were at a podcast, so the dogs behave yourself.
Exactly. But yeah, so Kristaps not playing plantar fasciitis. I mean, it's funny because he's the one that was the first one to say that he's not playing after Team Latvia was like, no, 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 he's still playing. He's working on his rehab. He's working on this. He's working on that. All those
It's like
reports are fake.
what kind of pull does Team Latvia have?
Right.
They're like speaking for him. It's like, no, you don't make that decision, honey.
As if Latvia, with or without Porzingis, was actually going to win anything.
Right. And I'm referring to Latvia like it's a person.
Right. But Team USA, everyone was giving them shit because they don't have a superstar on the team. But I'm not gonna lie, the chemistry, the scoring ability on the team, the defense is looking pretty good, even though they seemed like they were gonna be pretty undersized. I'm liking what I see out of Team USA so far. Have you been able to
Oh, you
catch
wanted
any
me to
games?
say something? I was like, what are we doing?
I didn't know if you caught any of the exhibition games?
I mean, what should I mean, I haven't, but I think I should like lie so that they don't go, what kind of guy is this? He said, no, I haven't. I honestly have been so focused on NFL training camp and but I know when FIBA starts. FIBA starts the 25th.
Yep.
And that's when it's going to matter. So set your alarms. Get ready to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, but the exhibitions, I'm like, whatever. It's exhibition.
Yeah, for sure. I just let
I mean, you can't find box score anyway. So what are we looking for here?
I know that's still the dumbest thing. I just like the way that Team USA is set up this year. I like the fact that there is no superstar on the team because I just like the brand of basketball they're playing. It's like just very fun and pretty basketball to watch. It's like like the Spurs and the Warriors and things like that. Like it's team basketball that they play very well on both ends of the floor. And it's just it's just fun to watch so far.
You got Steve Kerr coach today. You got Spoelstra, Ty Lue.
Yeah, they got some good minds over there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brunson the other day didn't miss a single shot.
You don't think Brunson's a superstar?
I think if he has the same type of season he had last year, this coming season, then I would put him into that category.
He's going to, you know that, right?
I mean, I have a feeling he will, but I think until then, I'm not going to call him a superstar just yet.
I think you will hear Brunson's name in the MVP conversation at some point.
Okay.
I'm saying he's going to win, but I think he's going to. I think Brunson's going to. He's in store for the best season of his career.
Oh yeah, I mean, very underrated. Everyone just keeps talking about him being undersized, so on and so forth. His defense, he's underrated. Just from everybody, he's underrated.
Nobody plays defense anymore anyway, so who cares?
Exactly. Nobody cares about that.
Unless you're center. Those are the only people who play defense.
True.
And like you got to...
If your center can't play defense, then usually your whole team's defense sucks.
Correct.
But yeah, so USA and Spain are currently the top 2 ranked teams in international play. Spain actually being number 1. And then after them, the next 2 teams I think that are the most intriguing are Canada and Australia.
Why is Spain number 1? Because they got Juancho, Hernan, Gomez?
Honestly, I think it's just from like the last, whether it be World Cup or Olympics, when the Gasols were still playing.
Okay.
I just don't think the rankings have like updated.
So they don't mean anything.
Probably not.
Well, I mean, if they go back to the Gasol, who cares?
Yeah, I really don't understand how those rankings work, to be honest. Because
I mean,
especially how, like, obviously, like, especially in the current rosters, USA should definitely be above Spain. But Canada should also be pretty high up there. I mean, with the amount of players that they now have, with R.J. Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, um, Dylan Brooks. Like they have some solid NBA players on their team.
I have the roster if you want me to read it to you.
There you go. Go for it.
Kyle Alexander, Nikhil Alexander Walker, R.J. Barrett, Trey Bell Haynes, Dylan Brooks, Dort, Zach Edey, Melvin, Ejim, Shea, Jamal Murray, Kelly
Oh yeah,
Olynyk,
Jamal Murray.
Kevin Pangos, who I believe was on the Cavaliers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even remember. He was somewhere. He didn't do anything. Or the Jazz. Maybe the Jazz. Dwight Powell, Thomas Scrub, and Phil Scrub.
You were right, Cleveland.
Was it Cleveland?
Yep.
See,
Last season.
that redeems me for not watching any exhibition basketball.
Exactly. That was your redemption right there.
If you look at some of these rosters, though, these rosters are kind of fun to look at.
Oh yeah,
Team Egypt, I can't pronounce about 90% of the team on there. Germany was actually an intriguing team if you look at them. They have Isaac Bonga, Franz Wagner,
True.
Mo Wagner, Dennis Schroeder, Daniel Theis. Those are the players of like NBA experience that have on there. Greece, there's a bunch of NBA players on there. To read these guys' names is impossible, but we have the two Antetokounmpo boys not named Giannis, so that doesn't really matter. Who else is on the list here? Kostas Papa. Again, can't say his last name, but I mean these are guys that are played in the NBA. So
Right. Like I really like Australia's roster too. They got Dyson Daniels, Dante Exum, Josh Giddey, Josh Green, Joe Ingles, Jock Londale, Patty Mills, Matisse, Jack White, and then the one guy who's fighting to still get on a team, the Duop Reith. They got a solid squad too.
Yeah, I think the best teams when you look at the rosters, Australia, Canada, USA, are they called the Balkans? The Balkan regions?
Whoever that is.
You know, like the Serbia.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the Slovenia, Spain. Spain has Rudy Fernandez on Spain.
He's still playing?
Apparently.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Hell no. I mean, unless it's a different Rudy Fernandez.
Well, and then
I mean, that's like John Smith.
True. Slovenia's team does look. I mean, it always is going to look good with Luka on the team, but the Dragic brothers are on there as well. So they're always.
They have Luka, so they don't. I'm surprised you're not talking about South Sudan. To be honest with you.
With Wenyen Gabriel.
Yes.
And my boy that was drafted by the Sixers. I'm forgetting his name right now. His first name starts with an M.
An M.
Oh wow, I can't.
Because I tell you, I can't pronounce any of these guys except for Wenyen Gabriel. And have you ever watched like the African League basketball?
No.
Yeah, it's like that. You're like, who? I can't pronounce anything.
I mean, yeah, I don't even know. Like, there's so many times that even the announcers get their names wrong. So it's like, how am I supposed to get the names right if the announcer can't even get the name right?
The Serbia, Nikola Jovic,
Oh yeah, true.
Bogdanovic.
They should have Jokic, but
But God forbid the guy takes a little time off. But yeah, that's FIBA. I
yeah, you're not
like
allowed
I
to
like
cheat
there's
that much.
guys that we don't there's guys that you never even heard of. And we'll
True,
never hear from again, but it's still fun.
that's true. I agree.
The weird ass
Um,
court.
the weird ass what? Oh, court. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's gonna bother me that I can't remember the dude's name because he was on the Blue Coats when I was still taking pictures for them, and he was like good for the G League, but just never got like up into Mariel Shayok. That's his name.
You
That's what I was
really
looking
spent
for.
all that time on Mario, aka Mario?
I just couldn't think of the guy's name.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's move on.
Half our viewers fell asleep, but
Yep.
or left.
All right. So our
Because
first division, our
Mario
first,
Shark, Sharuk.
our first divisional preview
Because you had to let
of
everybody know you took pictures with a blue coat. Trying to be a
always.
big shot on here.
I always have to. First divisional preview of the off season. So for those who don't know, every season, when we're a little bit out from the start of training camp and everything, we start our divisional previews. We usually do one division in episodes, so it's one division a week. So this week we are taking a look at the Southwest Division.
We wanted to get one of the trash divisions out of the way.
Exactly. So with that being said, let me bring this up here for those of you watching at home on YouTube. So, last season in the Southwest Division,
Excuse me. I had a
Memphis.
dog problem.
Oh, trust me, I get it. Usually it's my dogs barking and making noise, so I get it. Southwest Division last year, Memphis in first, Pelicans second, Mavericks third, Rockets fourth, Spurs fifth. Memphis was the second overall seed in the playoffs, only to the Nuggets at their 51-31 record. Obviously, then getting upset by the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round. That all went to shit. Pelicans, Zion had baby mama drama. That all went to shit.
Don't blame it on the baby, man. He wasn't healthy again.
I know. But then the Mavericks, who everyone was ranting and raving because Kyrie and Luka Doncic were going to carry them off in the sunset, didn't even make the play-in game. Houston and San Antonio, everyone knows they're both tanking. Houston's not tanking anymore. The Spurs are still kind of tanking. So, anyway, what are your thoughts on the division for this coming season?
I think the Mavericks, the Mavericks should be better, and the Rockets should be better.
For sure.
I think the Grizzlies will take a step down, obviously, because they're not going to have John Morant for 25 games.
Yep.
And then when you factor in, he's probably going to get hurt a couple times. So he's probably looking at maybe a 50-game, 45 to 50 game season. Because if what's 82 minus 25? So he's on 70, 60, like 60.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take 10 games away because he's going to miss 10 games because of an injury. So he'll probably be on the court for 45 to 50 games. And, the Grizzlies, they lost Dylan Brooks. Even though we're not a big fan of Dylan Brooks, it still kind of hurts a little bit,
especially defensively.
Well, don't do it. Don't do that.
I mean, he is a better defender than he is offensive.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll give you that. But he was a solid starting piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steven Adams, who the hell knows what's going on with him? He missed a lot of last season. He was hurt. We got excuse me. It's the Grizzlies season will come down to whether Desmond Bane is going to be like an all-star caliber player, because everything's going to start and end with him. And as much as Jaren Jackson is a good player, I'm still very suspect on whether he can actually stay healthy. And I honestly don't think he can. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he does. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but hasn't been the most reliable in terms of durability over the years. So yeah, and then when you look at Brandon Clark's coming off a torn Achilles, so you're very hobbled coming into the season. You got Derrick Rose. I mean, okay, he's Derrick Rose. I mean, he's not like he's the most he'll give you something, but it's going to come down to Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Keep that team floating until Morant comes back.
Exactly.
And then, but who knows what the hell Morant's going to do between now and then? I mean, is he going to show another gun on another video? You know what I mean?
But also, Jaren Jackson he only has one season played with over 63 games.
That's what I'm saying, dog.
And that wasn't even last season.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's a good player, obviously, but he's not healthy. Exactly. You know how I feel about that.
Yep. Then I don't know. Memphis. I agree. They're definitely taking a step back. I mean, you don't have your best player for the first 25 games right off the bat, and now Marcus Smart has to be integrated into the team in the beginning, but then you have to integrate Marcus Smart again when John Morant comes back, because it will be a difference when that happens, because you can put Marcus Smart as a starting point guard and have Bane next to him. But then when Morant comes back, do you start all three?
No, I think Marcus Smart is at his best when he comes off the bench.
Okay.
So, I mean, either way, they got to figure that out, and that's not going to be an easy navigation process for any team to go through. When you add a guy like that, there's going to be some things you got to figure out. Right. So, but I think the Pelicans, to me, still have a chance to probably be the best team in that division. CJ McCollum's coming off a couple injuries, tore his labrum, then he did something else. I can't remember. Wasn't good. But if you look at the way that team is constructed, it's, Valanciunas is still a quality center. So is McCollum, is he going to finally have that geezer slide to where he's old and he's going to start to regress, or is he going to still be CJ McCollum?
Right.
Of course, the obvious question, though, in New Orleans is whether Zion's going to stay healthy. And, and I'm also looking at Brandon Ingram, because that guy can't stay healthy either. Undoubtedly, Brandon Ingram's a great player, but his health is always a question.
And he's playing in the World Cup, so.
Well, maybe that'll be good for him. I don't know.
Maybe. Hopefully. I mean, he's still... All in all, Brandon Ingram's still really young. I think he's, 25, 26?
Yeah, he's still young. I mean, he's got... But he's got to, eat a little bit more, maybe bulk up a little bit, do something. You know what I mean? And then the Pelicans, they got some guys who were on the verge of, good players, not consistent, but, Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy, the third. Everybody's expecting him to make a leap. Herb Jones, they got Herb Jones back. He's a quality player.
Yep.
Not a great player, but is good defensively and good enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Najee Marshall's okay. So they have like players who, for one, they got to stay healthy, but then they also got to, some of these guys like the Trey Murphys and stuff, they got to keep progressing. And Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, they were good players last year, and so was Jose Alvarado. So they did what they needed to do. I'm not knocking those guys at all. They just got to they got to hit another level, and it's not even that much more than what they did last year. They just got to be a little bit. They got to improve a little bit more, which is probably going to happen now that they have another season under their belt. If you want to go to the Mavericks.
I will just add real quick with the Pelicans. Dyson Daniels looked decent in summer league, so still have to see.
It's summer league.
I know, but still have to see his growth. They did add Cody Zeller as a backup center now.
No,
so
for real. No, okay, really.
As a backup, though, compared to having Willie Hernangomez,
I'd rather have Willie
over Cody Zeller. Really?
Probably.
I don't know. Cody Zeller gives you some good hustle and rebounds.
Yeah. Okay. It's a great move to New Orleans. It's a great pickup.
Anyway, go ahead.
Cody Zeller's shit hot. All right, you want to stop talking about Cody Zeller?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so we'll move on to the Mavericks. Obviously, a big move the Mavericks made was adding Grant Williams.
Right.
And, Kyrie Irving is back, blah, blah, blah. I still don't know how that's going to work between those two.
True.
And what I mean, those two, I mean Kyrie and Luka. I'm still waiting for that situation to explode because Kyrie's a pain in the ass, and Kyrie was on his best behavior, but now that he's got his money, it's inevitable that he's going to be a pain in the ass again. You know what's going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately for him, Luka doesn't put up with any garbage. He's a hothead, and he wants to win, and I highly doubt he's going to put up with any bullshit from Kyrie Irving. I don't think Mark Cuban's going to put up with any bullshit from Kyrie Irving. So yeah. And then, Kyrie and Seth Curry are reunited in Dallas. As usual, they got Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell underneath the basket, which those guys are never going to leave. For some reason, Dallas loves them, but whatever. I mean, they're good. They're reliable. They're okay. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
They added Rashawn Holmes, which Rashawn Holmes I think is going to resurge this year. I think Rashawn Holmes is not a bad player. He just didn't fit into the Kings system. So I could see Holmes getting becoming a stable part of the rotation. To be honest with you,
right.
Jaden Hardy, everybody likes him. Dante Exum, they dusted him off and brought him back. I still have my doubts that Tim Hardaway is going to be on that roster to end the year. He may be on it to start, but I highly doubt he'll be on it to end it.
I don't see him staying longer.
Yeah. So, Derek Jones Jr., Derek Lively the second, added him. So.
I really like that draft pick for sure.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, they keep talking about how they need a center all the time, especially one that can protect the rim and be a lob threat. That's exactly what Derek Lively does. So that's nice, but it's going to take I feel like it takes centers a little longer to really show their true potential in the NBA just because they're not as big as the established centers. Like Derek Lively is pretty small in terms of like his frame and everything, so he just has to put on some weight and then I think he's fine. Just like Jalen Duren when he first got into the league. So
Another guy I think is going to have a great year, by the way.
Agreed.
Wrong division, but,
Yeah. I've been trying to trade for him in our Dynasty League, but the guy doesn't want to give him up.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know how those people, sometimes these people just don't like to respond to trades, which is annoying, by the way. We're coming up on fantasy football season, okay? And fantasy basketball season, too.
Yep.
Check your leagues, okay? Answer trade requests. If you can't check your phone once a day, check the app. Don't do the league.
It's only once a day.
And don't say you're working, because every guy is taking a shit at least once a day for 15 minutes. And they're on their phone. Am I lying?
And that's the best time to do a trade.
There's not a better time to do a trade than when you're taking a dump and check your fantasy leagues.
Exactly.
Please. Don't be a moron.
PSA to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think Dallas should do a little bit. Like, I think they will get the second seed in this division for this season. The roster still has some question marks. Like, I still want to see where a lot of the defense is going to come from. They brought Seth Curry back, but which is nice for their shooting, but we all know Seth Curry can't play a lick of defense.
No, that's not true.
He, especially when it comes to the playoffs, Seth Curry gets attacked relentlessly until he has to be taken off the floor.
Yeah, I know, but
I love Seth. Don't get me wrong, I love Seth.
He's got a brother, I think, doesn't he?
I think some guy.
He's probably not that good, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's that great. I really hope Rashawn Holmes does have the resurgence. I also hope JaVale McGee has a resurgence, because
he won't.
They brought. Was he was on the team last year, right? Or was he on a different?
Yeah. I mean, he was on a team, but he didn't do anything.
No, which was weird to me, because he played so well for Phoenix. Like, he was important on that Phoenix team for them getting to the finals.
I mean, in Phoenix defense, they can literally throw anybody in at center. They'll play well, and then they'll just forget about them. They'll just throw. They basically use and abuse them, and then throw their clothes at them and tell them to hit the bricks.
True.
Here's a 50. Here's a paper towel. Here's your clothes. Hit the bricks. They did it to Bismack Biyombo.
True.
JaVale McGee, they got what they. But JaVale McGee's been poured around all over the league, though, for years. Dallas did it. Golden State did it. Lakers did it. He's a whore.
The thing is, though, he can actually
and I mean that
contribute.
With the nicest way possible.
Oh, of course. He can actually contribute on a competitive team, especially off the bench as a center, which is what the Mavericks need: defense and rim running. He can do that easily, both of them. So I don't understand it. I agree with you, though. I don't think Tim Hardaway's going to be on the team much longer. I don't have as much faith in Jaden Hardy that a lot of people seem to have. I don't think he's going to be that big of a contributor or anything. Grant Williams was a good move bringing him in. And then outside of that, it's a lot of people that I'm just like Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Dante Exum. But I still just
I mean, where are you at, though, in your thought process where you go, you know what? I wonder what Dante Exum is up to these days. You know what I mean? How did that decision come about?
Agreed. I don't get it either.
Dante, you still playing? He's like, nah, man, I work at a car dealership. You want to come play? Yeah, okay, I guess. Can you give me 2 weeks so I got to put my notice in?
As I talked about it, I said that the Mavericks would probably be the second seed, but I talked myself out of it. So I have them probably going to finish in third again. Actually, do I want to go bold prediction here?
Now that you have a mustache, you got to rub your mustache and then think.
Oh, I do it all the time. At work, this is all I do.
Because it makes you think better.
Exactly. Really, really locks you in. I think I'm going to go bold prediction here and say I'm going to say that the Houston Rockets finish with a better record than the Dallas Mavericks next year.
Oh, shut the hell up. Don't do
I'm
that.
just saying.
Don't do that.
Better coaching. I would already put Ime Udoka ahead of Jason Kidd coaching-wise. The Kyrie Luka thing is going to blow up. They also, the role players around them are all okay. They're not great. They're all okay. Grant Williams is the best role player they have after him. It's all okay. And Houston, all their young guys got another year better. They brought in Amen Thompson. They brought in Fred VanVleet. They brought in Dylan Brooks, who again we're not big fans of, but still can contribute as a starter in the league. I think Houston is going to finish with a better record.
They somehow got Cam Whitmore.
Also Cam Whitmore.
Who was going to go out like number 4, but he went at 20.
Exactly.
Don't know how that happened, but whatever.
They also brought in Jock Landale. They also brought in the old man, Jeff Green.
You heard that.
They still have Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Alperen Sengun, Jayshawn Tate, Kevin Porter Jr., and Jalen Green. I think that they could finish with a better record.
You know what they don't have, though?
Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic. Correct.
No, that's for sure.
He's a one-man army by himself.
That's true. But if we, like last season, Dallas finished 38-44. Houston finished 22-60. So even if they say they tied, that'd be a 16-win improvement by Houston. Which I think they could possibly do because the roster definitely got better.
I think Dallas has a better roster than they did last season.
I feel like it stayed around the same.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Anyway,
San
Antonio's still coming in last. That's a given. I'm excited to watch Wembanyama, but they didn't really add anybody else on the team that's going to make this team that much better. And then
Chetty Osman is not a nobody. All right.
I mean, he's not a nobody.
I will say, though, however, Cam Payne was a great pickup.
That was. I agree. I love that pickup. I think that does help their guard rotation a lot, especially because Malachi Branham isn't exactly turning into the guard they hoped that he was.
Devin Vassell can't stay healthy.
That's true, too. And I really hope he does because I really like Devin Vassell a lot. And I think if you have that core of like Vassell, Wembanyama, Sochan, I think that's a solid young core right there. And you just get the guys around them like Cam Payne and some more people like that. I think that's a very nice starting spot. But
Poor Devontae Graham can't catch a break.
No. He's already fallen back to irrelevance.
Yeah.
Really had high hopes for Devontae.
But everybody needs to knock it off with the Wembanyama bullshit.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I think I just get mad. I don't know why I'm mad, but I'm just like, everybody's like ranting and raving. He's going to be an MVP, blah, blah, blah. The dude, I'd be surprised if he played 45 games.
Oh, you think he's not even going to play 50?
All right, I give him 50. That's about it. They're going to baby the hell out of this guy. And he's going to get hurt. I guarantee he's going to get hurt.
If there's any soreness, they'll definitely keep him out.
He's going to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, of course we don't, like, we hope he stays as healthy as possible, but it's pretty hard when you're that
obviously.
rail skinny when he's
What do you think? We
that
want him
big.
to get hurt? You think the people think that we want somebody to get hurt? No.
I'm just covering our bases. That's all.
I mean,
covering our
we were
ass.
talking about girls with cocks, for crying out loud, and it was just, I mean, if we didn't cover that base, I don't think we need to cover this base.
I'm just throwing it out there. That's all.
Okay.
Anyway,
we hope he stays healthy.
Exactly. My final prediction, I'm saying Pelicans first. I'm saying Memphis second, Houston third, Mavericks fourth, Spurs fifth.
I'm going to go Pelicans 1, Mavs 2, Memphis 3, Houston barely 4, and then Spurs way 5. Like way 5. Spurs may be like one of the worst teams in the league this year.
I mean, for sure. I think they will be too. I mean, if they can get another top pick to go along with Wembanyama, then why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna take him a while to get acclimated. He's got to eat something. Popovich doesn't care anymore.
Popovich is just there for the ride.
Yeah, he's just like whatever.
He's so old at this point. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's at the stains on your shirt. You just go wherever you feel like with the Velcro shoes.
Oh, he looks rough.
Yeah, true. So, our last topic of the day. Dennis's 2023-2024 Points League Fantasy Basketball Rankings were released on rotoballer.com. And we will have a link in our bio and in the show description. So if you're listening on Spotify, whatever, check the episode description.
I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead.
On YouTube, Facebook, wherever if you're watching the video, we'll have it in the description.
Bang Bus.
Exactly. Bang Bus as well. I will, for those watching, I'll bring that up here on the screen and we'll talk some of your rankings here. We were hoping that Mike was going to be on here because Mike was the one that had the issue.
I don't even know if he's alive, to be honest with you.
I don't either. However, we start off with numbers 1 through 4.
And I will tell you that this is only the first version, so this is subject to change.
Yes.
And these are for points leagues, not category leagues.
Yes, that is a big distinction for everybody. Points leagues, category leagues have very different strategies, which I don't think that the casual fantasy player understands as much. Like it's just a different game than fantasy football, which I think more people understand and play than the rest of the fantasy sports. However, rankings 1 through 4, Dennis has here Jokic, Doncic, Giannis, and Embiid in that order.
Okay.
I'm going to let you take it from there.
Well, I mean, Jokic is a no-brainer to me. Jokic has played, and I did some extensive research on this. Like, this wasn't just me. Like, you saw, I had like a spreadsheet, and, I had a whole system behind this. Right. So, one of the interesting is Jokic has actually played in 90% of his eligible games that he's, like, who does that? Like, that's impressive. Now, Luka, to me, it's Luka. He's still, like, I'm not going to get into I've seen in points leagues where they've had, like, Halliburton ranked over Luka. Like, I ain't doing that. It's Luka Doncic. He's still, you can make the case that he's the best player in the world, or at least you can at least argue it in some way. And Giannis, even though Giannis is, he still suits up for games. He's on the injury report a lot, but he still plays through a lot of injuries. So you got to give him, some credit for that. His shooting numbers aren't the best, but we don't care about that in points leagues. All we care about is production. The guy's a walking triple-double. He's good defensively. So, Giannis is 3. However, I could make the case, though, and I may even switch it at some point, that Embiid could go up to 3, which may be the case, especially if James Harden ends up staying in Philly, to where I'm going to move Embiid up above Giannis. The only reason I wouldn't bring Giannis above Luka, even though if anybody drafts Embiid number 1, I have no problem with that at all. My only thing is that I get concerned about the health aspect of Embiid.
Right.
So when you take that into consideration, I get a little concerned about that.
No, that makes sense. I mean, Embiid is going to put up some of the most double doubles in the league, and his scoring is always very good. He throws in a couple assists here and there, but he also gets a lot of blocks, which is always a big plus in points leagues.
A lot of blocks.
Exactly. So that's always going to be a plus in there. And
because if you look at the scoring, the format, so you get points, you get points or points, assists, and that's how I'm scoring it off of like traditional. So rebounds will be worth 1.2 points, assists are worth 1.5 points, and then rebounds and steals are worth 3 points each.
Blocks and steals, yeah.
What did I say?
You said rebounds and steals.
Okay, they know what I meant. Blocks and steals are worth 3 points.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's there's a chance, and it's probably a very good chance that at some point I'm gonna move Embiid up to number 3, and I'm still not, and I still may even move him up to 2. I'm not. So, this may change at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the Giannis's fantasy potential, I think, is always the best in points leagues compared to category leagues, because his free throw percentage tanks your team. His 3-point, he's not a big 3-point shooter. His turnovers last season were super high. So when it comes to categories, he's hurting you in more than one category. But points wise, you can deal with those turnovers because he's still putting up close to 30 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, he's doing all that kind of stuff in points league. So he's definitely still in the top 4 for sure.
And these are also available on Fantasy Pros too.
Yes. Okay.
Apparently that, but there are some Fantasy Pros guys, who do the official industry rankings who might disagree. And I think we should try to bring some of these guys on. And,
I'm down for that.
And we can have a discussion, because there's a lot of people who disagree, and that's great. I mean, but when we come down to this next echelon,
right, that's where the debate starts.
Yeah, you're not going to debate 1 through 4. In most cases, you might debate the order of 1 through 4, but you're not going to really debate who the top. But this is where, it gets interesting, because I've seen Shea in the top 4 in some cases, and I've also seen Tyrese Halliburton ranked a lot higher. My whole thing is that Tatum is a great player.
Yep.
And I have a hard time believing that Tatum, you're going to put a guy, Tyrese Halliburton has had one standout season in his career. You're not going to convince me right now that should be ranked above Jason Tatum, who's had several productive seasons.
Right.
So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is an offensive machine. You could, if you took Jason Tatum over Gilgeous-Alexander, I have no problem with that. Anthony Davis, as much as I ride his balls about, and that didn't sound good, but as much as I ride his nuts about, his injuries and stuff, even in his limited availability, the upside is extremely there, because he's still super productive despite his limited amount of time on the floor. He was still a top fantasy producer despite missing a ton of time last season with a foot injury. So if you take Anthony Davis, which is not a bad move,
Not at all.
you better be prepared to be without him for like a month because he's going to get hurt.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need backup plans for sure. And
And
I will say real quick for those listening that aren't watching the video, we have the 5 through 10 right now. In that order, 5 through 10, Dennis has Gilgeous-Alexander, Tatum, Anthony Davis, Domantas Sabonis, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. I'm glad you did that because I'm thinking like people,
Yeah, no
So
worries.
that's why you're the host and I'm not. So I'm here for my looks, and that's about it. But Lillard's a little weird to me because he may go up or down depending upon what happens with his situation here moving ahead.
Right.
He could easily climb the charts, and I wouldn't mind putting him ahead of Halliburton. I'd still rather have Damian Lillard than Tyrese Halliburton. I probably may want Damian Lillard over Sabonis. I may want Sabonis over Anthony Davis. Like if you took Sabonis over Anthony Davis, that's okay. Because Sabonis is, and the guy had a broken thumb and he played the entire season with it. Sabonis is one of the most underrated, reliable people in the league. He's a double-double guy. He's
Even some triple doubles.
yeah. I think he averaged without like around 7 assists last season.
It was like 6 or 7, yeah.
So this is a guy who could easily be in the MVP conversation. So if you're worried about durability and it's down between Davis and Sabonis, there's nothing wrong with taking Sabonis.
Agreed. I feel like when it comes to the Kings in terms of fantasy, everyone thinks of Fox first, which I get it. He scores 25 points a game. Like,
I
he's
don't.
a good scorer. But, well, I just mean for the casual person. But Sabonis averages more assists per game than De'Aaron Fox does. Like, I'm looking at it right now. So, Sabonis last year played 79 games and averaged 19.1 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 7.3 assists per game. While De'Aaron Fox played 73 games, which, I mean, still a decent amount of games. Don't
Yeah, I
get me
take
wrong.
it. Take it.
25 points a game, 4.2 rebounds, 6.1 assists a game. However, he does have the 1.1 steals a game. So he's a little bit more in the steal department, but significantly less in the rebounds. More over 1 assist fewer than Sabonis. And their turnovers are pretty comparable.
Sabonis ain't going to get you anything defensively.
No.
But he makes up for it. And like I said, I have a hard time. Like Tyrese Halliburton's going to be, he's a good player, but you might need to pump the brakes a little bit on this because if you're going to get stupid and you're thinking about taking Halliburton over, even if you have a top 4 pick and you take Halliburton in the top 4, you might want to pump the brakes a little bit.
And here's my thing too is these top big men are much harder to come by than good guards.
Good point.
You can find good guards deep in the draft. You cannot find that good of big men deep in the draft. So I think that's just another thing to look at.
I agree.
I will say that's a big statement coming from you though to say you could take Damian Lillard a little higher because, I mean, Dame also has some injury issues, especially lately. And
he does, but the thing with that though is look at what's been going on in Portland. Okay, the season before he had a hamstring injury, but the past 2 seasons he's been shut down just for the simple reason of Portland hasn't been competitive.
That's true.
So it's not like as if he was like super injured, but it was more along the lines of let's just shut him down because we have nothing to play for.
True. That's a good point. Yeah, no, I mean, overall, I like this. I do like Tyrese Halliburton a lot. However, I would definitely take Gilgeous-Alexander over Halliburton. Tatum, I would take over him. I wouldn't mind taking Halliburton over Anthony Davis just because of the health factor. And the fact that I think Halliburton is still a very good player who I think that will put up a similar season as he did last year that he will this coming year, especially with some better teammates around him. But I wouldn't be mad at anyone taking Sabonis over Halliburton. But I would. I'm definitely don't have anything wrong with the 5 through 10. The only person that I might move down is Damian Lillard. I'm not as high on Damian Lillard as some others are. So now we'll move down to 11 through 20 here. And the guys you have listed in that order, starting at 11th, are Kevin Durant, Trae Young, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Pascal Siakam, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards, Mikal Bridges, Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball. I'm interested to hear your explanation about LaMelo Ball being as low as he is. Is that just health related?
Well, it's more along the lines of Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. Okay.
True.
I think Quinn Snyder's going to have a really good effect on Trae Young. LeBron James and Steph Curry are still LeBron James and Steph Curry. Same thing can be said. The same thing with Kevin Durant. Pascal Siakam was a quality fantasy producer last season, but missing Van Vliet is can either go really good for him or it can go really bad for him. Right. Jaylen Brown, I'm still convinced that there's going to be a point where Jaylen Brown may be the number one guy in Boston.
Okay.
And Anthony Edwards and Mikal Bridges, when you think about durability, those guys are as durable as it can get. Mm-hmm. I think Anthony Edwards is going to be the number one guy in Minnesota this season, easily. And Mikal Bridges, when he went from Phoenix to Brooklyn, he averaged 24 points a game. Considering he wants to be more of a distributor as well, and I mean, we already know he's good defensively, but if he throws in some more assists and he's going to be the primary scoring option.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm not saying he's going to play 82 games, but he's going to stay, hopefully he's going to stay healthy. Right. Ja Morant is, even with his limited availability, the same thing as Anthony Davis. He's basically missed 20, 25 games every season since he's been in the league for the most part, but he's still a top fantasy producer. The only thing is I can't put him any higher than that because I think he's going to miss 25 plus more. So he's going to miss 25 and then more for an injury. So if he's only playing 45 to 50 games, that's troubling. And then, I mean, LaMelo Ball could be much higher, and he may actually climb the rankings. The foot thing kind of freaked me out last year. And you know how I am with durability. So if you got a guy who's going to be durable, I'm going to take the durability guy. Even if he's not going to be as productive, I'm going to take the durability over LaMelo. But I still think LaMelo can be in Luka Doncic category in terms of I was even convinced at one point that LaMelo Ball is going to, and I'm still not convinced that he's not going to be, but he could be as good of a player, if not better, than Luka Doncic at some point. My problem with this is that he's in Charlotte, which isn't good for anybody. Miles Bridges is back. And you have some new pieces in Charlotte. The coaching is not that good. Not a knock on that, but LaMelo may end up climbing the board, but I have a hard time not thinking Mikal Bridges and Anthony Davis and Jaylen Brown are going to be great this season. And I can't look in the mirror and say that I'm going to move Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron James that far down on the list.
No, that makes sense to me. I mean, personally, yeah, I'd probably have LaMelo above Ja. I'd probably have him above. I mean, so my big thing with Pascal is Pascal has question marks on is he going to be traded? If he gets traded to Atlanta, does his value increase? Does it decrease? That just saying Atlanta because of the rumors about that. But now with Toronto, say he stays there and plays out the season, he doesn't have a guy like Fred VanVleet running the show anymore. So does he play more of like point forward position, just like Scotty Barnes is going to be playing more point forward? Can Dennis Schroeder get him the ball in the specific areas that he needs it, just like Fred VanVleet could? I just have some questions around Siakam. But yeah, Jaylen Brown, I mean, he's so. To me, it's funny because Jaylen Brown can give you a game in terms of points leagues where it's like he gives you 20 points one game and then like 60 points the next game. Like Jaylen Brown can really give you a superstar production at any given moment. And now that I'm curious to see if he's one of those guys that now that he got his money, he kind of like settles into a role and just plays that role, and it isn't like above where everyone thought he was going to be, or if he just takes off. So that's another one. But I agree. I can't move Kevin Durant, LeBron, Steph. I can't move them down any more than that either. And Trey, even though I'm not the biggest Trey guy, I think he has to be in the top 15 at least.
I mean, when you look at his numbers after Quinn Snyder took over, he played significantly better.
Oh, yeah. And
I think his morale is going to be better, and I think Quinn Snyder is just a better coach.
And he's always in the top, like, 5 to 7 in assists per game, as well as one of the better scorers. So...
And if he can improve his three-point percentage, because I think last season he shot 33%, if I'm not mistaken, but if he can get better and more efficient with that, which he very easily could, then Trae Young could even end up being much higher. Honestly, if I'm looking at this list again, LaMelo Ball may climb the rankings, but I'm still kind of sour about his how he looked last season with his injuries, and that's a huge concern for me. So even if he is more productive, I don't know if I want to take the chance. If Mikal Bridges or Anthony Edwards is there over, and so is LaMelo Ball, I don't know if I could in good conscience take the chance of taking LaMelo Ball over those guys.
Yeah, no, I get it, especially because especially them being ankle injuries, that's just big in and of itself. So we'll do the last chunk here of 21 to 30 so that we're not boring everybody with our in-depth analysis. And we can pick back up in the next episode. However, 21 through 30 here we have...
Oh, they were bored at the buffet in the strip club.
Oh, for sure. 21 through 30 we have James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Brunson, Fred VanVleet, De'Aaron Fox, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyrie Irving. So, I'm sure that everyone heard Chet Holmgren and were like, Chet Holmgren above Victor Wembanyama, because obviously everyone loves to put Wembanyama up there in the top 30 as a rookie.
I ain't doing it.
Even though it's absurd because rookies usually are never up there unless you're like LeBron James. So what's your reasoning behind throwing Chet all the way up at 24?
I mean, did you see him in Summer League? He was noticeably bigger, and not just the size, but he looked more mature than he did even as in that year. He looked just more, he looked bigger. He looked really good in Summer League defensively. I mean, my God, the guy looked like, and yeah, I'm really high on Chet Holmgren. So yeah, Donovan Mitchell, like I'm still not like super sour on James Harden because he still scores. We don't got to worry about percentages and points leagues, and his assist numbers are there. If you're getting 1.5 points for assists, then he's a guy averaged over 10 assists a game. I can't look past that. And if he stays in Philly, it's pretty reasonable that he's going to do it again. As long, assuming
whether he's in Philly or goes to the Clippers, I think that assist number stays pretty damn high. I mean, you're either passing the ball to Embiid, Maxey and company, or Kawhi and Paul George and company. So those assist numbers, I feel like, are going to stay there regardless.
And then Randall and Sabonis are like kind of like the same guys to me in terms of like super unappreciated. People don't realize how good they are, but they are really good. Randall, for some reason, people he has a bad rap with people, but Julius Randall, I mean, shit, good player. Jalen Brunson is going to take a step. This order might get reshuffled at some point. Donovan Mitchell makes me a little nervous. I feel like he might be going backwards a little bit. We'll see what happens. But Brunson may easily ascend the list, or would it be descending I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might move up the rankings.
My immediate reaction was, if there's anyone that falls on this list here of this 10, I would say it would be Van Vliet.
It is, but he's a good player.
No, like, it's not a knock against him. I think it's just the fact that Houston is still going to try to get their young guys involved, especially like Amen Thompson and Jalen.
But I think his assist numbers are going to go up.
True. I think they definitely could.
And he's going to be on the floor a lot.
I think his scoring numbers I don't think they'll be like as high as they were in Toronto, but his assist numbers I do think will get a little bit better.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even mind if like somebody took the Aaron Fox over Van Vliet. I still wouldn't. I would take Brunson still ahead of those guys. Jimmy Butler just makes me nervous with his health.
True.
Kyrie might. I can't even believe I put him in 30, but good conscience, I couldn't shit on him any more than that, because when he does play, he is a great player, but he's gonna be a pain in the ass at some point, and I'm not gonna take the chance on that.
Oh, for sure.
Bam could move up or move down. There are rumblings that he may, it's going to be interesting to see if he spends time at the 4 with Thomas Bryant in the mix, because there are finally people are starting to realize that Bam's kind of too small to be like a reliable center. So we'll see if a move or something like helps out. But yeah, that's my top 30. If you want to go in we can save the rest of it, but
yeah,
it's fun. Fantasy basketball.
For sure. We'll definitely talk about the rest of that next week. But for any of those who want to check it out, make sure you check the link in our in our episode description, or if you're on YouTube, in the bio below. We'll have the links to all of that. Last week we talked rookie ranking, or a couple weeks ago when it was Mike and I, we talked rookie rankings, same place in Roto Baller. So make sure you guys check those out. We'll have those links for you, and let us know if you guys have any comments on our rankings, and we'll discuss. Especially if you're on the live show, don't hesitate to comment, and we'll talk about it.
Are you okay? Jesus.
These allergies, man, have been killing me lately.
Yeah, but it just happened. What's going on?
No, it's been this whole time.
Is it the pollen, it's getting caught in the mustache? Is that what's going on?
It's got to be it, because it's only been since the mustache.
I wonder what's living in that thing.
I mean, Lord knows, I don't even know.
There's probably like campfires and shit going on. Like there's like little dust mites and stuff there's cities and things.
So that's why I've been smelling s'mores. There's just been campfires cooler in there.
Yeah. Who knows what that thing smells like?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I make sure to brush it out a little,
Know what I mean? You new married man.
Exactly. Now I'm married now, so now I can experiment. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
On that note, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for watching. We got you guys with a long one this week because we had a good bit to talk about since Dennis has been out for a little bit here. But
don't blame me.
I'm not blaming you. I'm saying it was a good one.
It's July. I didn't want to.
I mean, there really wasn't anything going on at all. So.
No. I mean, I was going to say, what do you think? I want to sit around? But yes, I do, actually.
Actually.
If you want to be honest, yes.
Yes.
I can't wait for summer to be enough. Like, it's football. So let's go. Like, enough. Like, let's get to football season.
Well, now that we're at the end of summer, I'm like, all right, just start the sports back up. Let's go.
Right.
When I'm in the middle of summer, I'm like, let me hang on to summer a little bit more. But now that we're at like those last 2 weeks, people are going back to school, which honestly is great because now there's a little bit less traffic, there's a little bit less people out there. I love when there's less people.
Yeah, but what about the buses?
These
little fuckers. And by the way, too, if you're a parent, put your kid at the fucking end of the road or their stop. They don't need to wait in the house
or in the car.
Right. Get them out there. All right. We don't need the bus. They don't need to be in the house while the bus is pulling up. Get them out there before the bus is there. We don't need the bus to pull up, and then you're going to send them out. Then you're going to kiss them 20 times. Get your kid out there. They're fine.
They're going to run, and then it's going to hold everybody up.
Right. I want to sit there and watch your fucking kid get on the bus.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. But yes, so we will be back next week with our next division in the divisional previews. Probably will be Northwest, but you guys will find out next week.
So will we, because we have no idea.
Exactly. Will we have a guest? Maybe. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching another episode of the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. And we will catch you guys next week. Peace.